This one isn't going to be that long. I just wanted to talk about some things that I thought about the other day. It was funny because I did a video or working on the next video for the YouTube channel that's going to probably go out not this week, but next week. But this is going to be kind of confusing because, you know, you're just going to get it when you get it. And I did some B-roll. When I did that B-roll, one of the things that I did was I grabbed the trier when I was smelling the coffee, or mimic me smelling the coffee. And I just did that because, you know, that's what roasters do, right? But truthfully, I don't do that. Just like cupping, I don't do cupping either. And that's the story for another day. But these triers right here, this is where you can actually pull the coffee out from your roaster, and you can smell the coffee, you can look at it. And I have it for the bigger roaster, the 2 kilo roaster, and also for the 300-gram roaster, and I don't use them. I really don't. And I think that's perfectly fine. I think at times a lot of things that we do or go through, we think that we're gonna use things the way that we see everybody else use them. And in this case, that's not the case, at least for me. I don't use them because I don't think there's that much of benefit to really constantly smell your coffee throughout the roast. Probably if it's a new coffee, yeah, sure, that does make sense, right? But when you roast many times, as roasters or people in general, you tend to know where a coffee's gonna go. And it's interesting I say that because in the beginning I used these things all the time. It was a new thing. It was something that I saw. It seemed interesting. It was interesting, and I'm sure it still is interesting to other people, but to me right now it's not. I'm making sure whenever I look at a roast, I look at how much time or the degree of how fast the roast is going. Whenever I'm using software, right, I look at how responsive my actual roasting temperature is. I kind of play around with that type of game to see if I have enough momentum in order to move the coffee into the place that I want it to go. I think it's more so me being more analytical on that side, and I'm used to that, right? I'm used to getting what I need to get out of the coffee. And I think that's the thing that I want you to take away from this. A lot of times I know we do things in life that we're like, okay, we're gonna have to stick through this thing all the time, right? But that's not the case. Like the trier, where it's called. This is one thing that I don't use, and I'm not saying that I'm the best roaster ever. No, I care about the craft. I care about the science of it. I care about making sure that I'm able to give a product to somebody and they're like happy and wow. And that's the thing that I look forward to, right? Of course, brewing, of course, tasting the coffee and challenging myself. But if I have a certain way that I go about doing things, then that's perfectly fine. You have a certain way of going about doing things, and don't lose that curiosity. Don't lose who you are into this game that we play in general. And I think that's extremely important. I think that's extremely important because we as people, we think we know what we really want out of life, but as we do things and come to a situation to where we are who we are because of the things that we have done, we tend to lose who we are. So I don't know if that made any sense, and I don't want to keep going on about this, but I don't use this, and I think it's perfectly fine. I still could be able to produce coffee that's tasty, that people will like. I'm always trying to find other things in order to see how I can get better in this craft, in this game of coffee. So I'm sure there's going to be other things that I do talk about in general, but I think it's perfectly okay for us to not use these gears or these instruments in order to tell our story of what we think this coffee tastes like. That's what I got for you. I hope that this is helpful. I hope that my idea or my logic, the way of going about understanding things, is helpful to you. And let me know what other things that you probably started with and gravitated to, but you probably don't use anymore. and tell me the reason why. I told you the reason why I don't really care for these anymore, or you don't have to. It's just my interesting take on the Trier, why I don't use them, and other things that I'm doing in order to produce the best cup of coffee for people. That's what I got for you. Talk to you later. Bye.